Hi guys! So, who wants to talk bacon and carnivore today? I know you guys probably don't like bacon, right? I think we probably shouldn't even waste our time talking about bacon, right? So we're getting together today and we are going to talk about carnivore. So I'm just waiting for our guest to arrive. We're doing another first time, so it might take us just a little minute to get connected. This is the first time that she's doing this, and she started her Instagram up and got it going so we could do this. So we're gonna be patient, and we're gonna hope that she sees that I'm on live now on Instagram. And in a moment, I'll send her a message to make sure that she does know. I was running a couple minutes behind because, Dory fashion, it was 5 minutes to, and I was like, I haven't brushed my hair yet. Oh no. Because smooth like that, Dory is 110% all day long. So I do not see her watching just yet. So I'm going to give her a quick message. Miss Joette. And I see you there, lady. I see you. Okay, so I'm going to let her know that I'm live now on Instagram. And then she will come and find us. I'm so excited. And you guys can eyeball for me too when her profile pops in. You're going to love it. It's My Cow Experiment. Carnivore options work. How awesome is that? How giggle worthy is that? There we go, darling. And in we go. Let's get this going. Add. As we add. I'm super excited, by the way, and it's a perfect time to have this discussion. You guys may or may not know, it's Carnivore Month. So a lot of people are interested in carnivore, interested in getting started, but they don't really know, all that much about carnivore. So we're going to talk about the basics, and we're going to take your questions if you guys have questions. Now, on Facebook, I won't see them until after because we're recording this. And we'll try to catch what questions we can, and we will come back after and look at them as well. I am awesome today. I'm seriously, I'm scattered this morning. I spent my morning hunting for more teams for us for Keto Wars and getting more memes together. So I was all like, oh, I have lots of time. It's not till noon. I have lots of time. It's not until noon. I have all the time in the world. It's not until noon. And I was like, oh my goodness, noon is in 8 minutes. But I will tell you guys, spoiler alert, the reason why I was running to right 8 minutes too was because we officially got another new team, and Just Go Keto with Lisa Facebook team is going to join the battle. So if you guys haven't heard about the Keto Wars yet, we're going to try to add her again. Let's try that because it did not work. And let's try it again and see if she can accept this time. So this is how it works, because if you guys haven't heard Dory blasting Keto Wars everywhere yet, I don't know where you've been, just saying. Yay! Oh, we're connected. Let me get my chair so I'm not too tall. Hello, darling. Oh, our sound is not very good. Let's give us 1 second. Oh, there we go. We're better. Let's get you connected. Give it 1 second.
Major storm. So we've got a major storm hitting us, so...
Yes. So, forewarning, we may or may not have the best of connection because, yes, big storms are on the go, and that doesn't always do the greatest for our internet. So, darling, we're so excited to meet you. And I say some of my people don't know you yet, but you are just brand new starting up on your page. So I know nobody knows you yet, Miss Karen. So why don't you introduce yourself, and let's start there.
Okay. I was born and raised in Southern California. Then I moved to Missouri. And then I recently got married about a year ago to a wonderful man. Yes. And I moved back to California, but I'm on the coast by Pismo Beach, San Luis Obispo. So, that's where I'm living now.
Nice.
So I'm really happy. I've got good things happening in my life.
Yes. So let's start there, because the reason why you and I started chatting was, let's go back a few months, several months. You reached out to me and you were curious. So let's kind of go back there. Back when you reached out to me, and let's start there.
Okay. I may even go back a little further to kind of explain how I got to meeting you the first time.
Yes.
Back in August of 2015, this was the start of a real dark place for me. I lost my oldest sister to cancer in August of 2015. Then in March, I lost my baby sister to, she had an obstruction in her intestines which perforated and caused a leakage, and she died from the infection of that. So that was like 7 months later. And then 2 months later, I lost my baby brother to a massive heart attack. So, and then the thing that I talked to you about that was really emotional for me is during all of this time is when I found out my marriage was not good. Remember, I shared that with you? I found out he was unfaithful the whole time. So trying to deal with my oldest sister dying, my baby sister dying, and then my brother, I was hit with that. And so I'm trying to just survive emotionally.
Yes.
So then about 8 months later, after all of that, I lost my mother to cancer. Oh. And that was extremely difficult for me. And I couldn't even begin to grieve because emotionally I was spent from all different directions.
Yes.
And my father had died of cancer as well. So to kind of speed things up so it doesn't get all emotional for me like that, because I'm still kind of raw. I'm still dealing.
I understand. It's hard.
But I'm dealing with it. You have to go on. You can't just stop. And I stopped several times, I will admit. But life goes on, and you just have to push through it. And so I remember talking to my mother's oncologist, and this was towards the end of her life journey here. And he said, if your mother wants any chance of living, she has to get rid of the sugars out of her diet. And that was the very first time I ever heard something like that, especially from an oncologist. They would just never say anything like that, but he did that on the down low because he really cared for my mother.
Psst, don't tell anyone I told you.
Yes,
Right.
He's like third in the nation, so he's really a wonderful guy, yet he can't step out and say the obvious, okay? So I started doing some research, and I was trying to help my mother with the sugar, but, you know, she was 82 years old, and she just did not understand that. So her life journey ended here and is now, you know, I'll see her again along with my other family. So then I remember my life just stopping at that point. And I was really trying to deal with all the several different emotions that were hitting me on top of my marriage failed. And I had a couple cancer scares myself. Ovarian and skin cancer. So cancer runs really big in our family. And I knew if I had any chance to beat cancer, I had to eat like if I had cancer. So that started my first journey to keto. And that was back last year in June. And I got on the keto, the page, and I thought I was doing strict keto. But I'm still new at all this, so you guys are good. If I say something wrong here or that's not correct, just bear with me because that's how my cow experiment page started. Is I'm experimenting, and so anyway, I went on keto and I was going through. Well, let me just back up a little bit. I went to my cardiologist because I have a pacemaker, and he ran a series of tests on me. They run a real extensive test when you go to a cardiologist.
Oh, yes.
And he sat me down in his office, and he said, okay, I'm going to show you some columns here. There's a green column, a yellow column, and a red column. And you want everything to be in the green column. You got to work on the yellow. And the red column is very serious. So he held his hands in his lap, and he said, every one of yours are in the red column. And I just sat there because normally I never had markers like that. And I still don't understand all the markers, but I knew I was never in the red. So I'm going, oh, and he immediately put me on statins.
Oh, well, of course, because that's like,
I never had a heart attack, but he wanted to put me on statins. So I agreed. My husband was sitting right there, and I thought, I'm going to agree, but I knew in my head I would never take one pill. And he'd set up my pill little box for me, and every morning I would wake up, open it, and take it, put it in the toilet, and I'd make him think I was taking it, right?
Yes.
So
because it's not worth the fight.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's not worth the fight.
So then we went on a search for keto. I thought, I'm going to do this through diet.
Yeah.
I know there's an answer that way. And so I went on the keto search. I joined several pages, and I was getting advice left and right on what to do. My symptoms were severe constipation, which that's what my little sister died from.
Yes.
And all the aches and pains. And I never ate vegetables before keto because I just didn't like them. Being Italian, I love the cheese, the lasagna,
the pasta,
the garlic bread. I was more of a savory person.
Yes.
So when I went on keto and I started eating all these vegetables, my stomach was blowing up.
Oh, yes.
And my joints were hurting. And I learned I couldn't always say that it was the vegetables that I was eating. It was a lot of stress. My inflammation markers were high. And did I lose you? Are you still there?
Nope, we can still hear you. We're slightly glitchy, but your sound is good. So I'm going to say just continue on.
Okay.
Yeah, we power through.
Okay. Keto journey, and I was getting advice left and right from everybody. And I was pushing through all the advice, doing what everybody was telling me, trying this, trying that, nothing was working. And so I started looking at Carnivore and what that was about, because, you're always searching for that perfect answer. And my answers may not be for everybody, but for me, they seem to be working. So I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit.
That's okay.
So I came on your page, and for the first time, the first time I was smiling because you just brought such joy to me, and I thought, this girl is real,
I love you.
And I reached out and I typed in, what do you think about Carnivore? And I erased it. Then I typed it in again and I erased it because I was afraid of the keto police or whoever. God love you guys, because a lot of the keto polices have helped me, okay?
Yes.
So I'm not putting anybody down. But I was really afraid to mention that because when you say carnivore, people eyeballs, they do that rolling thing, right? And when I finally had enough guts, I think it was a couple shows later on yours that I mentioned it, and you received it so lovingly to me. And you said, try that. If you think that's going to work, try it. So I said, okay, maybe I'll think about it. So now I went back to my doctors to have another labs test taken after I'd been on keto for about 2 months.
Okay.
So I'm doing my keto the best I could, went back to the doctors. He sat down. He had done all these echograms and things on my heart. And he said, well, your markers have, improved some. And he said, so how are the effects on you? And that's when I had to admit to him I wasn't taking statins. I said, well, to be honest with you, I haven't taken one. And he about had a heart attack himself. His eyes got real big. And he said, you can't do this. And I said, well, I'm going to try to do it by diet. And he said this to me straight out. He said, Karen, no diet in the world is going to help you with your cholesterol. That is totally hereditary. And I said, well, can I see my markers? And he wouldn't show them to me. He closed my files and said, we'll see you next year. So I had my files sent to me, and I started reading them and not understanding what markers mean. I kind of had I knew my triglycerides went down 120 points. My good cholesterol went up. My overall cholesterol went up, but I wasn't worried about that because I understood.
Yes.
So now I'm on all the pages, still searching, and I met Paola. You know who she is, don't you?
I do.
Paola?
Yeah, I do.
A lovely lady. And she was watching me on all the keto pages messages asking for advice. I was posting my little pictures of my meals, and she started on her own taking my food and trying to calculate in the macros what I was eating.
Oh.
And it was way off. I was eating under 1,000 calories. I wasn't eating enough fat, and I didn't even understand all of that. And she sent me a private message and said, Karen, can we talk? And I said, yes. I was just so delighted she reached out to me. And that's when my journey with Carnivore started. I showed her all my blood work, and she looked at my inflammation markers. And she said, Karen, has your doctor ever talked to you about your inflammation markers? And I said, no, what are those? And she says, well, that can indicate an infection, or it can mean cancer. And she didn't want to scare me, but she said, yours are off the chart. Even with the drop of my triglycerides and my up on the good cholesterol, my markers were screaming. And she says, that is a big indicator you've got a lot of inflammation going on. And she says, I think we need to go a little bit further than keto. And she said, I'd like to start eliminating, instead of picking one thing out and trying to figure out what it was that was, causing inflammation, then just eliminate it all.
Yeah.
And also, she pointed out, she says, Karen, you've gone through a lot in the last, it was 18 months at that time.
Yes.
You lost 5 family members, your marriage. And so it's no wonder your inflammations are sky high and you're feeling all this joint pain. And, because when your inflammation is high, it's a way of protecting your vital organs in your body. And if you're got fat on your body, actually that's a miracle that you do, because it's protecting those organs in your body from toxins getting into them. So fat can be a good thing. And at this point in my life, it was a good thing, because it probably protected me from a lot of things I was going through emotionally and physically with the diet I was on.
Yes.
So she said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to eliminate all vegetables. And that's how we started. I got rid of all vegetables. Dory, in a few days, I'm not kidding you, in a few days, my stomach went down. When I would get off the couch, I had to sit and do that rocking, that old person rocking, and then I would stand, and I would stand there for about a minute in some horrible pain, and then hobble for the next 2 minutes till I got my balance. It was just horrifying. And here I'm 61 years old, and I was walking like if I was ready to be crippled. When I cut the vegetables out,
we're a little bit frozen.
That could tolerate vegetables and digest them correctly. So it was inflaming me. So once I got rid of that, the gas, constipation, pain completely went away. And that's the first time in my life I ever realized, wow, diet, not just emotion, but diet can play a big part in my health. And we started from there. And so once I eliminated all of that out, I was eating little cheese. But one day I made a pizza out of mozzarella.
Oh, I remember this story.
I couldn't even bend my leg. Oh, I think did I lose you?
We're just a little frozen. So back up to when you ate the pizza, because that's when we cut out. Because I remember you telling me this story, and it was a really good one.
I ate the pizza, and immediately within an hour, my stomach was tore up. It felt like I swallowed a ball, like when you get indigestion, but it was in my stomach. The next day I woke up, and my knees were so swollen, and I couldn't barely walk. And I thought, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe I was having a reaction like that. And it took me about a week to get rid of that. Normally I would want to just say, oh, forget this diet. I don't want to have to deal with this. But I was so determined to find out. It started becoming more, I wasn't focusing on my weight. That was my issue. I was focusing on healing the inside, healing my cell receptors to start receiving nutrition and finding out what was causing things to go awry in my body. So she said, okay, look, January 1st, I'd like, and this was like December 15th, and she said, January 1st, would you do a challenge with me? Go carnivore. I said, absolutely, because simple was best for me, right?
Yes.
So I said, absolutely. So towards the beginning or the end of December, she said, would you like to just get rid of dairy out of your diet and let's go from there? I said, absolutely. I just want to do meat, salt, water, a few spices, that's it. And so the whole month of January, then she started having me test my blood glucose in the morning and then 90 minutes after a meal and see how things were affecting me. And then that's how we decided, let's just get rid of all the dairy, all the vegetables, even sweeteners. I got rid of it all. And I started noticing my blood doing a lot better. But when I went strict carnivore, they started rising. Okay? Because I'll tell you why. We're figuring this out. This is an experiment. And I want everybody to bear with me. It's all new to me. I'm experimenting stages right now. So if I get this wrong, I'm sorry. And, I'll learn as I go. So anyway, I started testing my sugars, and they started going a little higher in the mornings. My, like, say, 113, 120.
Okay.
And we started experimenting. She started really watching what I was eating. And I was going back to not eating a lot, because when you go carnivore or even keto, you lose your appetite. Yes. And I lost mine, and it was all I could do to eat anything. So she said, Karen, I know you still have a fear of eating and eating too much fat, and you've got to understand how important the two are. You've got to bring your fat 2 to 1. And so we started doing an experiment. I said, okay, so I'm adding more fats, getting fattier meats, and things like that. And when I would do that, my blood sugars started stabilizing. And so today I woke up and they were really good. So so we decided, okay, I created the page, My Cow Experiment. And the cow would be Carnivore Options Work. And for me, it's an experiment to see how carnivore options work. So I go on my page and I post my little blood glucose and I do my little cooking videos, and I've made a couple disastrous meals. And I'm sure eyeballs were rolling when they would watch my videos.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Nobody's smooth. Nobody is smooth. Sometimes I still get cringy about my videos, but the first couple, I'm like, oh my goodness. My very first video, I literally mispronounced ketogenic diet. Like, I was all up in there going, hi, I'm Dory. Come learn about the ketogenic diet with me. We're going to have so much fun. Oh my goodness. It's going to be fun.
All right. Well, I cooked I was making chicken tenders because it looked good when somebody in my group made it.
Well, yeah.
Well, first of all, I took a rotisserie chicken that was bought at Costco. Who knows what that's filled with, right?
Yeah.
And it was already cooked. And I took it and sliced it up. I dipped it in the egg and then the pork rind flour that I make and I season. And I put it in my air fryer for 24 minutes.
Yeah.
I took the $1 million bite. That's what I call my videos. I go, all right, stay tuned for the $1 million bite. I put it in my mouth, and the taste of the pork rind was really good, right? So I said, bye, everybody. I'm going to go enjoy my meal. The second bite, I almost had to do a Heimlich maneuver on myself. I know, it was stuck.
Oh, my God.
I had to get back on there and say, you guys, this did not work. And they were all telling me, well, we knew that you should have used raw chicken.
It was not good, guys.
Yeah. So, now come February, what our plan is for my group is that I'll start adding one thing back in.
Okay.
And I'm not going to do it one day at a time. I'm going to give it like a week or two to see how because you never know. You can inflame a week later or whatever. And so I'll add one thing back in and test my sugars and see how I'm feeling on it. And if it's good, I'll keep it. If not, and it may be something I use very sparingly, or I may not use it all. So that's my experiment page that I'm doing. And I cannot tell you how much. Oh, and another thing that lifted is my depression.
Yes.
My depression. And so in 3 months, I go back for another blood test at another doctor because he's not going to see me. And I'm going to march them up there with my slim, trim self.
Right,
and I'm going to say, this is what the diet you said wouldn't help me did.
Right.
So,
oh yeah, I thought you said that wasn't going to work for me. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you go, girl. Like, I am so ready for that. You stick it.
Yeah.
Stick it to the man.
Exactly.
So now, I want to let people know that your experiment page is private. So, if they just go and search on Facebook, they might or might not find it. So how can they get a hold of you to find it? Can you send me the link so that I can add the link?
Yeah, I can do that. This is what happened is I went into my page, I made it public so I could take a video and post it on another carnivore page of my little video I made.
Yes.
And then I raced back and I put it private. Well, they make you wait 28 days, so I think I'm in that 28-day thing.
Yes, they do. I changed the name of my page.
I might start videoing them on Instagram.
Yes, we were talking about that.
Sending them out to a page or something like that.
Yes.
So that's kind of like what I'm doing.
And if you film something on Instagram, feel free to post it on my public page and in my group as well, and then we can share it. Because both my group and my public page, even my personal page, are public. So if you want to share them to those, then my people can help you share them around. Because we're all in different carnivore groups too. And you know what? We're all learning together. There is no shame. And I'm so proud of you for saying, you know what? Hi, this is who I am. I'm not an expert. I'm learning. Because you know what? Learning together. How much better is that? Right? Like, how much better is that? Because then everyone is open to experimentation. Everybody says, you know what? We're giving a go together. And you don't feel like there's some big expert looking down on you, telling you that's not... Here's my best look down on you. Look, I'm not very used to this, but I'm going to try. Right? You don't feel like that, though. You're just hanging out with your friends.
One other point I wanted to point out that was a big factor in me sticking with this is, of course, you know, the cancer scare. I was told I had colon cancer, ovarian cancer, skin cancer, and so I wanted to not be another family member that was lost, you know, in the genealogy tree of cancer. And so people ask me, why has this worked for you? What made you stay with this? And I said, I think because I took my focus off my weight as my problem, and I placed it on what was happening on the inside. And though I wasn't seeing the weight loss that I wanted to see, are we still connected? Though I wasn't seeing the weight loss, I put that on the back burner. I said, okay, Karen, you've got to start here. Yes. And I'm told it could take 6 months to a year.
Yes.
You know, and I still struggle even after that because, you know, I'm 61 years old. And I've done a lot of damage to my body. I've experienced a lot of emotional trauma.
Yes.
And so it just may take a long time, and I may still have to live with some of the ramifications of my own doing, you know, and some done to me without that. But so I learned, I said, okay, the only way I'm going to succeed in the weight part of it is take my eyes off of that, put it on the healing process, and do these little experiments. And when I wake up in the morning and it's not the result I wanted, I have to not look at it as being discouraged, but saying, oh, okay, this experiment is teaching me that this isn't my problem. I need to look further. And it's going to take a moment-by-moment journey. So I will share with you, before my mom died, I was like 175. I'm 5'5". I hold my weight excellent. People look at me and they say, you're not 175. Oh. I don't know why I have that lucky part in me, but I felt comfortable. And then, so from 175, after she died, a year into her losing her, I went to 213. Now, I know to some that may not seem like a lot, but when I do gain weight, you really notice it. And I could show you pictures where you'd say, wow, I look like I was 230 or more. And so now, this morning, I hadn't weighed myself because I'm too focused on my numbers. That's become my obsession, is my blood glucose numbers. So I'm more focused on that, and I sometimes forget to weigh myself, but I weighed 188.8 this morning.
Oh.
So from 213, yeah. So that's kind of a plus. That kind of, it just encourages you. Things are now, and I'm just now losing the weight. Before I wasn't. And I had to accept, okay, I'm not going to lose right now. That comes later.
Yeah.
After my body is saying, wait a minute, I am not going to have you lose weight. I'm going to focus it on healing you first. And I had to accept that.
Well, and I think we all come because we want to lose weight. Let's be honest. I'm not going to stand up on a soapbox and say, I didn't care. I had 20 pounds to lose too, just like everybody else. But the truth of it is, keto is body healing with a side of weight loss. You might not lose any weight until you start to heal. And let's be honest about how long it took us to get this way. How long did you abuse and damage and poison your body? For how many years would you guess? Off the top of your head.
Well, I was probably born with a mozzarella pacifier in my mouth, being Italian.
Have the pasta, baby.
Yeah, so from life, that was just, and here's another thing people say, if you ate mozzarella your whole life, being Italian, all the pastas and this and that, why is it now that you went carnivore that you had a flare-up with mozzarella? Well, when I grew up gradually eating the things like that my body probably was sending out signals to me.
You just never noticed.
Well, it was just as an adult. We'll forget the baby thing. My body was telling me, hey, this isn't agreeing with you. Do something. Don't eat this. But you keep eating it. You keep eating it. Finally, your body just says, you know what? I am not going to send these signals to her. So what my body did instead is it started creating inflammation, racing to my organs to protect them, creating fat to surround my organs to protect them, and then I still didn't listen. So what is the next step? And we froze again.
No, your sound is okay.
The next step? My body, was trying to protect. Yeah, my body was trying to protect itself with fat and inflammation. And when that didn't work, when it finally it gave up. And other symptoms were flooding in because it couldn't do any more for me. Yeah. So when I cut all that out and it started coming back alive and getting rid of the inflammation, getting rid of the fat, and I hadn't had mozzarella in 3-4 months, and the second I ate it, my body sent me that signal. Your body doesn't like this. Stop eating it. I received a healthy signal from my body. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. And you know what? I think for me, I ate so many things that kept me so inflamed and sick on a regular basis that became my normal. And it sounds stupid. It sounds crazy. But you know what? Waking up in pain every day that I couldn't get out of bed and stand on my feet, taking 12 to 24 muscle relaxants or painkillers every day, holding the garbage can and crying while you go to the bathroom. I didn't know that these things weren't normal. Like, people don't, throw up while they poop and cry, for 2 hours. What? Other people don't. What do they just throw up on their lap like heathens? I didn't know. I just thought that that's what life was. I had resigned myself to that's what my life was, and I didn't even know. I think a lot of people are living in that spot where they don't know that human beings aren't supposed to be in pain like that all day, every day. It's not normal. If you're in pain, it's
you get dull to those signals. You get dull to them. You just don't even recognize them anymore. This is just life, and you move through it. But I'll guarantee you, when you get them out of your system, like I did, I'm dairy-free, vegetable-free. The minute I put dairy back into my diet, I knew.
Mama.
My body was saying, we're not doing this. Yeah. So
not today, Satan.
That's why,
not today.
I'm not saying that I'll never try mozzarella, but I know it's something that my body doesn't like. Yeah. And maybe after I've been doing carnivore for a while and I heal my leaky gut, because I did have leaky gut.
Yes.
And I bring all my inflammation down, and my triglycerides come down, and my good cholesterol goes up. Maybe when I've reached that point, I might be able to have it in moderation. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what I can back. Thus, my experiment. And so, that's my journey.
I have a research question for you that I think would be kind of fun. So, I know that what causes inflammation in dairy can either be the protein that's in the dairy or the casein itself. Can you find out for me if you react to the protein in the dairy or the casein itself? And then can we find out if cheese cultures have casein in them? And this is where I'm going with that. I've seen a recipe for dairy-free mozzarella cheese that melts. And it's made with coconut cream, and then it just has the casein culture. So if the casein is not what you react to, then we can make you a dairy-free melting mozzarella cheese. I do already dairy-free cream cheese. If you want that, girl, it is so easy. I'm going to give you the best tip of your life right now. So this is how easy dairy-free cream cheese is. You take a can of high-fat coconut milk. You chill it in the fridge overnight. You whip this up with your food mixer. You add a tablespoon of lemon to curdle it and 1 to 2 probiotic capsules. So I just buy the no-name brand because I use them for my cooking. Then what you do is you take that mixture, you put it inside of a cheesecloth and twist it up, and it sits underneath of your counter for 12 to 24 hours, depending on how tart you like it. That's it. Cream cheese, done.
Wow.
I make it all of the time. It's amazingly good. Same process for your homemade yogurt minus the lemon. So probiotic, coconut, and let it culture underneath your counter for up to 24 hours, depending on, and that's it. So the world of coconut cream, we can open up almost all of those foods that you want. I make whipped cream with this. I make, you name it. Everything that you can make with heavy cream, almost, you can make with this. I do cottage cheese, which they call it cottage cheese. It's not really. It's coconut cream and gelatin. And then you can add whatever flavor you want, and you just chunk it up in the size of coconut, of your cottage cheese. So I do have...
I'm hearing this for the first time, so this is really exciting.
Oh, girl, on my group, if you search dairy-free, I have a post called, Are You Struggling with Dairy-Free? And it has every dairy-free recipe I've ever tried, every one I've created, and all the ones I just love that are on my must-try list in one stop drop, because my sister went dairy-free. I did a month of dairy-free, hoping it would heal my throat issues. The issue is I just talk too much. Is anyone shocked? Is anyone shocked? I stressed my voice in Christmas, and I just don't rest it.
Italians, we do talk a lot, but we do use our hands, so that gets the message across faster without as many words.
Save a little throat.
Yes.
But yeah. Well, and you're not doing any non-meat products right now, so this might not be an option for you, but when you want to introduce some things back, let's talk about this. And if you know anyone who's going dairy-free, send them my way. And I'll tell you this. So I have a couple of passions, but my number one passion is really weird food restrictions. Does that sound odd? But because I feel like if you're eliminating something, it's because you have to and not because you want to. Nobody's like, oh my God, I'm going to go dairy-free. It's going to be so fun. They're like, girl, I'm going to die if I don't take out that dairy. Like, I don't know how I'm going to live without it. I might kill people. Hold me back. Chain me down somewhere. I might kill people, but I have to for my health. So let's be honest. Nobody eliminates stuff because they're all like, I'm so proud of myself. I've done so good. I'm going to take more things away from myself for fun.
And
just
you do get that. I noticed that in some carnivore groups. They're saying, hey, I'm just meat, salt, and water.
Yeah.
And for a small percentage, that really works for that person. But then you'll get the others on that group that do it because they want to say they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My reason for doing it was not to say I'm carnivore and to walk around with that flag, but it was easy. I was being lazy. I didn't want to have to go through, okay, which one is it that's bothering me?
Yes.
So for me, it was easy to just do that cleanse. And I'm just doing it for that month.
Yeah.
Do a dairy cleanse, vegetable cleanse. Do I want to come back to, well, actually, if I'm real honest, I hate vegetables, but there are some that I like. I mean, I'm being real.
I don't like you.
So giving up vegetables and the results I got from it were great.
Right?
But the one thing I want to bring back February 1st are sauteed mushrooms.
Oh. Well, and girl, I'll cross my fingers for you because they're a nightshade. I cross my fingers. Oh, yes.
I want the fab yogurt. I want the mushrooms. I want the hard cheese.
Oh.
And some walnuts. But, so I'm going to bring those back one at a time and see how they work for me. But and cucumbers and, a few vegetables here and there just to say that I'm eating some vegetables. But those are really the things that when I was doing December 15th, I was doing those things and I was completely satisfied.
Excellent.
I'm an easy cook. I don't want to go through the drama. That have you guys ever seen that with Cher, Moonstruck, that Italian movie Moonstruck?
Yes.
That was my family. That was my family. I'm not kidding you. I would walk into my Italian family on a food night, and all my aunts would sit there with their little cute Italian aprons on, their hair up in buns, and they'd give me a kiss and say, "Mangia, mangia," and pass me a piece of bread.
Yes.
And I'd go to the next aunt, "Mangia, mangia." She'd hand me a piece of a meatball. And after I went down 10 or, aunts and cousins, pork ball myself, So, and then it was drama, the screaming, the yelling, the laughing, the hugging, the threatening. My family was moonstruck, totally. So for all that cooking, hustle and bustle, my mom, she was Irish, so I'm half Irish, half Italian. And so I didn't like the drama, So I pulled away from all the cooking, and I'm just not... Well, watch my videos on my cooking. You'll see I'm not really that great. I do cook good Italian meals, but the rest you could forget.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
Forget about it.
This diet for me was perfect. I don't have to do anything.
Nice.
I just use my Instapot.
So, how quickly we ran through that time is insane. We have about 10 minutes left. So what I would like to do, and what I want to focus on to close out, is the misconception that carnivore is just meat. Carnivore is just meat. You're overeating your proteins. You're going to damage your liver. And, it's just a big old steak and there's no fat in carnivore. So I want to address that because even when you carnivore, you're still maintaining your fat to protein macronutrient ratio. So you're not just having a steak and that's your carnivore. You would have a steak, insert your favorite way to meet your macro. That's my question for you. I'm having a steak today, Karen, and what do I do to make my 2-to-1 macro ratio?
What I start off with, and please remember, I'm still learning this process. I struggled with getting too much protein, which was then spiking my insulin.
Yes.
Okay? Just protein. I was getting way too much protein. And so she was teaching me, Karen, you need to bring your fats up above that. So in the mornings when I have my coffee, I put in a tablespoon of butter. So I start there. And then my breakfast, I'll have, I know this sounds like a lot, and it is. And I have to really work on it. I have to take some deep breaths and eat slowly. And sometimes when I don't want to eat and I prepare it, because she told me just prepare it and put it in front of you, take that first bite, you'll awaken your appetite.
Yeah.
So for my first meal, because I intermittent fast, I only have 2 meals a day.
Yeah.
And And I'll tell you, see this here? Oh, it was hanging down so low.
Oh, mine's getting better slowly, but I'm like, what the heck is this?
I think the intermittent fasting is helping me. But anyway, to get back to what I eat, is I take that ghee butter or butter, and I put it in my frying pan, and I fry 3 eggs or scramble, and then would you stop? You are fine. You're so beautiful. So I take my scrambled eggs, 3 of them, and I take the ghee butter and I pour it on top. I don't leave it in the pan.
Yes.
And then I take my bacon, and I buy it at Costco's because it has no sugar in it. It's the low sodium red package. You get 4 in a pack. And I bake that, and I take about 8 slices of bacon because I could live off bacon. I take 8 greasy slices of bacon, and I put that on my plate. Then I take another tablespoon of butter and put it on my bacon.
Butter up that bacon, boy. Butter up that bacon.
Yeah, my cardiologist would probably just
die.
Flip out. Yeah. And so that's my first meal. And my second meal, I'll take a ribeye steak, and I buy the ones that have the most fat in it and around it. And I put it in a pan with ghee butter and a little garlic and salt and pepper, and I sear it really good, and then I baste it with the butter all through the cooking period.
Yes. And
then I put that on my plate, and I take the drippings and pour it on there. And so I really feel when I do my diet like that, okay, not every day do I, and I'll be honest, and that's when my sugars rise. But when I have a high-fat, moderate protein carnivore diet for the day, my sugars are beautiful. And so that's what I do, and it's all different. I do organ meats.
Yes, those are so good.
Okay, I do those because they're good for nutritional value. Maybe not so much the fat, but I'll add fat to it. I made baconaise. Have you made that?
Oh, yes, girl. Oh, my goodness, yes. Okay, so here's a funny. I don't know how long you've been following me, but I'm going to say about January of last year, I was on live with Dr. Ken Berry, and I was like, oh, my God, dude, I just discovered, like, the bomb. And we were talking about bacon mayonnaise. As soon as we hopped off that live, he whipped that up. He sent me a picture. Oh my God, Dory, the bowl is already gone. I made it that day. Oh yeah, everybody's been making it like crazy.
Try it. I did a little video, and of course I didn't liquefy the fat because I didn't know. I just had the ingredients, and it worked out perfect. And it tastes so good. I add a little mustard to it later.
Yes.
I dip my liverwort in it. One thing I was having a reaction to, and we weren't sure, was chicken. So I was going to do the chicken tenders in it.
Yeah.
But I take that bacon egg and I put it on my steak. I use it for a lot of dipping. I save all my bacon grease.
Yes.
I use my Instapot that I didn't know I had. I said, honey, I know what I want for Christmas. And he says, what's that? And I go, an Instapot. I throw all the rules out the window. I know you're not supposed to get your bride an appliance, but throw it out the window. I want an Instapot. And he said, why? I already have one. I went, what?
What?
So I went searching through the cabinets, and way in the back was this nice Instapot.
What?
So I've been making really yummy meals with that, adding a lot of bacon. I have bacon fat and butter to that, and I make a broth. And so I drink all the broth with the meat I'm eating. So I'm trying to bring that ratio higher. And through one of my experiments, my blood counts are doing amazing when I do that.
I had to convince at my house, too.
I'm no longer constipated. I wanted to mention that one thing before we go.
Yeah.
Is that you may not go a lot when you're on carnivore, but you're no longer constipated at all. You may have smaller bowel movements, but you're not constipated. I used to walk around feeling like something was stuck, if you know what I mean. That pressure.
Yes.
Since I've gone carnivore and removed all vegetables, I'm regular. I just may not be going as much, and the amount may not be as much, but I'm regular. The pressure's gone.
Well, because you're not taking in the fiber and the carbs that are so bulky to dispose of. You are more efficiently processing your foods, so it's not that you're not doing it right. Your body is just becoming more efficient in what it eliminates. So don't panic. I swear, poop issues are like the number one thing that we discuss on the regular. Like, either I'm not going or I'm going too much, or like, you know, the favorite hashtag, don't trust a keto fart. Like, I'm sure you've heard that one before. Oh God, that's even happened to me before.
Your intestines absorb 90% of it, so you have less to, pass.
Yes.
For vegetables, it takes your intestines use very little of the nutrition, and then it gets stuck, and thus you're constipated, which I have diverticulitis really bad. And I think it was a lot of that, not vegetables, but just other things that I wasn't eating correctly.
Blockage.
But since I've gone carnivore, first time in my life, I'm normal.
Oh.
Maybe not here.
Right.
But here.
Do you know what? Normal's overrated. Forget about it. Right?
I don't think carnivore fixes this, but I'll take it.
Nothing fixes crazy, but crazy is hella fun. Oh, thank you so much for your time, and I want to encourage you guys, if you want to carnivore, if you want more information about carnivore, if you just want to experiment, let's be honest, in a place where it's okay to do that, because everybody's doing that together, then I really, really encourage you to join the cow experiment. And you know what? Send me the link. I'm going to join the page. Not because I'm in a carnivore. We all know Dory doesn't do that. But I would love to support you guys and help make some more carnivore recipes for you guys. And just hang out and make it easy.
Public.
Yes.
And I will do that experiment that you asked me for with the cheese. So
yes.
I'll get back with you on that.
Yes.
And
now,
go ahead.
I was going to ask you before we close out. Now, do you want to do a cow experiment team for Keto Wars? So the way it works is I'll set you up a graphic for your team. Now, to vote, all people have to do is post their carnivore recipe with hashtag Keto Wars, hashtag Team My Cow Experiment, and that votes for you. So I'll make you up a graphic, and let's get you a team going. Because you know what? I think a lot of people think, oh, well, I carnivore, so I can't really take part in your fun recipe thing, Dory. But you know what? More than anyone, we need people to show how you carnivore, how you make it fun. How do you get that extra fat? Am I just eating bacon and steak every day? And I know you guys aren't. So that gives people an opportunity to say, you know what, this is how I carnivore. This month's theme is Keto 101, favorite recipe. It does not have to be your original recipe. Not everybody creates recipes. It just has to be a recipe you love, that you want to share, that's easy. So all you have to do is on Instagram, when you post your food picture with the basic ingredients, basic recipe, all you do is hashtag it Keto Wars, hashtag the team you want to win, that's it. You're in. It's that easy. Nobody has to stress. I make the meme for the teams, and at the end of the month, we're going to have a feature video for the winning teams. So we get our people involved, vote, we get everybody involved, and look at all the free, abundant recipes that we have to share all of the time. And they're available in a click. So if you go check out the hashtag Keto Wars, there's already almost 200 posts in there. So there is already almost 200 amazing keto recipes just waiting for you to check them out. So I'm excited.
Yeah, because that's going to help. It really does help. Until I can get to the point I can add certain things back in, Yes. So,
yay.
Well, gosh, this has been great.
I'm so excited.
I've been live with Dory. I never thought this day would come.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I remember when you first asked me if I would. I tried to act real, okay, yes, Dory, this would be perfectly fine. I hung up the phone. I'm jumping up and down in my living room, calling my husband. He's not going to believe this, but Dory.
You know, Dory. Yeah, they never care. Like, at my house, they're never impressed. I'm like, oh my God, I get to go live with Maria Emmerich. And my kid's like, not Maria Emmerich. I have no idea who you're talking about. Wow, Mother.
My friend all know who you are. So it was exciting that I got to do this with you today.
Oh, well, let's do it again soon.
You're such a dear.
Let's do it again, because I want to check in and see how your experiment is doing. So I'm going to get your team meme made up. I'm going to get this all saved and loaded up, and let's chat in a little while.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mwah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and supporting Dory.
Yes.
She's got a wonderful channel.
Oh, thank you. Have a great day, hon. Bye, darling. Okay, so how fun is that? Like, for getting over the hump. Now, we are going to get back together in about an hour, and we're going to do my favorite easy keto drop cookie. Now, it's already posted on Facebook and on Instagram, so you guys have the recipe. It's easy peasy. Like, we've done this before. It's basically the fudge recipe with extra stuff. So it's awesome, delicious, good. And my favorite for portion control. This teeny little recipe makes 8 little bite-sized cookies. Absolute perfection for that, you know, instant craving, and it takes 2 seconds to make them. So let's do that in about an hour. And then I think we're going to hang out a little bit later. I haven't posted it yet. But we're going to do Getting Over the Hump, and I want to talk to you guys about all the limiting beliefs I had that kept me heavy and unhealthy. So we're going to chat about that, because I think maybe we have some of the same limiting beliefs. Let's find out. We'll make a list. Oh, I had that one. Tick. Oh, that one too. Tick. So I'll see you guys in an hour. Let's have cookies, and then we're going to have a chat. See you soon, guys. Have a great Wednesday.